Alright, you're about to see my last games on Xdefiant ever because tonight they closed the servers. Well, today it's 3 in the morning currently, if I can show you. 3 in the morning. So they're about to close the servers for this game, and this is going to be the last time you can play it. If you didn't know, about a couple months ago, they announced not only were they going to close, like take it down from stores so new people couldn't play it, but they are going through their sunset phase, which basically means they're closing the servers down. So I hopped on the game to actually play it for the last time, and like my last video I did on Multiverse, this is going to be a live commentary, so I'm playing as I'm talking, so I'm going to be a little shit, but I actually really liked Xdefiant. Now, I will say, I didn't play as much as I played COD, but I still liked it, and I wish it, like, would, like, stay up, because it is fun, like, it is a very fun game to play. If I can, I think I can show you. I have my sniper at level 100, so you can see I've actually played quite a bit of it, and it's just sad that it's dying. And the main reason why it's dying is because they can't make enough money on this game. Even though it's a big IP like Ubisoft, they really can't. Like it's just really hard for free to play games to actually make it out of the whole honeymoon phase where everybody's playing it, and then they need people to stay on there so they can actually make money through microtransactions. And enough people aren't buying the microtransactions. They ain't buying the battle passes. They ain't buying weapon skins. They ain't doing all that. So all right, I'm getting I haven't gotten a single kill. Let me actually lock in real quick. All right, we're gonna have to switch to a different weapon. I ain't hitting the shots right now with the sniper. I played with only the sniper so much that I only have the base sniper. Whatever's happening in the background's crazy. But I only really played with the sniper. Let me just use the MP5 and see what happens. Hopefully I do okay. Back to what I was saying, this game just didn't survive because it was free to play. If it was like a $20 game, like I said with Multiverse, or even a $40 game, it would have survived because both this, Xdefiant, and Multiverse had such a big player base at the beginning of it, especially since this game was around the time when MW2 was not doing hot. And then MW3, people liked that multiplayer, but it didn't have a campaign. It had really bad zombies, so like people were just not really messing with Call of Duty at the time. And everyone, it was also the skill-based matchmaking, because if you don't know, Xdefiant doesn't have a skill-based matchmaking. So people were really hyped about that. Oh my gosh, my aim. My sense is really high because I moved it up for sniping. But people really didn't like the whole skill-based matchmaking aspect of Call of Duty. I mean, I don't really like it that much, but it's not like a big deal with me. I've always been like a 1.2, 1.3 KD type of person in Call of Duty. So like, I feel like I'm kind of like the person that they like, unless it's like actual pros and like really high level people. I'm kind of like the problem people complain about. Like they get into matches with me and I'm getting like, and I'm like dogging on them. But there has been a few times where I've like recognized, wow, these guys are crazy. I might be in that skill based matchmaking lobby, but it hasn't really always been a big deal for me, to be honest with you. But this game, like it's just a free for all, really. Like it doesn't have any skill based matchmaking. The gunplay is like not very similar to Call of Duty. It feels a little bit more stiff than Call of Duty, but I like it still. It's just a shame that it died. Like it's gonna die today. We're never gonna be able to play again. I have a feeling when they announced that they were doing all this, like shutting down the servers, it kind of like seemed like they were trying to get more hype on the track and like get people to hop back on and like possibly save the game, but without saying that they wanted people to do that. But it just didn't really work out because people actually do like. Let me rephrase that. People kind of like Black Ops 6 more than NW2 and NW3, just the general population. Me wise, I kind of like the multiplayer more from MW3, but the zombies in Black Ops 6 is goated. I also like Warzone a bit more in like Black Ops 6 era, even though it's not like Warzone 2 or Warzone 3, it's just called Warzone now. I really do like Verdansk. I actually put probably like close to 80 hours to 100 hours just in playing Verdansk when it came out. But You know, I also do like the multiplayer, just not as much as the MW3 multiplayer. And the MW2 was just like Warzone was fun for like a month or so. Multiplayer was kind of mid. I mean, people really complain about the big maps, but that's not really what did it for me. It was just how slow paced the game was. Those maps wouldn't have been too bad if you could like slide cancel around the map and that type of stuff, but it wasn't like that. They really like wanted the movement to be more military sim like, and I didn't like that. Wasn't messing with it at all. This game does have slide canceling. It does feel like really fast paced and responsive, which I really like. I'm gonna say this again. These free to play games, they're not popular. They're not doing as good as they want them to be. When you have like when you spend let's say fucking 50 to 100 mil on the actual like development of the game, and you have to spend another 100 to 500k each month to keep the servers up. Like, it's hard to make your money back on a free to play game like that. Like, it's understandable if like you spent maybe less than like 5-10 mil making the game, and you can make that back like pretty easy probably with microtransactions, and the servers are probably not too bad at that point. But it's hard. It's really hard for these free to play games to survive. That's why I'm like kind of not looking forward to the new skate game, just because of that, because I know I'm probably not going to be buying any of the microtransactions in skate. And if other people don't buy them, then the servers are going to close. It's just how it is. Like, they won't be able to fund the servers. People are not going to be buying enough microtransactions to actually make back what they used to develop the game. So like, I'm not looking forward to skate. It's not. I'm kind of popping off this base MP5 right now. I kind of just been running around getting kills. Well, I just got gaped there. But I'm hoping with this game, hopefully they come back with, hopefully maybe in the near future they'll come back to this idea and try to bring it back to life, because I mean, like, it is really fun. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm not gonna lie and say that I'm the biggest Xdefiant fan ever, and it's like it was the COD killer. It was never gonna be the COD killer. Like people saying it was gonna be the COD killer were just dumb. Like, it never was going to be, and I think that's what like partially killed it as well, is because it didn't have its own identity. Like, when I'm just going to give you an example of another Ubisoft game, Rainbow Six Siege. Rainbow Six Siege was never fucking marketed as a killer to another game. It was just marketed as Rainbow Six Siege, a new experience, and that's what this should have been. I forget, it's Mark Rubin, I think his name. No, fuck, what's his name? I don't know. The guy that actually made the game is like head director of this game. His name is Mark something, but him marketing this as a non-skill based matchmaking COD killer is just, it wasn't the move. Never was, because it didn't give Xdefiant its own identity. It gave it the identity of the COD killer, just a COD clone. And when you do that, like, it really hurts the game. Like, I'm gonna give you another example that's actually more on route to what this actually is instead of Rainbow Six Siege. Saints Row. Saints Row, they never marketed it as a GTA clone. It was a new experience, and people really like. I mean, the newer ones are not very well received, but from I know, one through 4 are heavily enjoyed. So they should have just never marketed. I feel like that's part of why it's died. Especially the content creators like Blame Truth, Jev, like all of them, like marketing like this as a COD killer did not help it at all. So a combination of all these things, like, a Black Ops 6 actually being a relatively good game, and then It also had really bad server issues. I don't know if anybody knows about that, but the first, like, I would say 3 months of the game had really bad server issues. It had like bad hit reg. It was just really laggy. It was hard to get in games sometimes. They also did the weird thing where they brought it back on and off, like through the betas, which, you know, was, they should have just had it out the first time around. Like, I understand doing a beta. That's when people were probably the most hype about it, because when it actually launched, like, people were talking about it, but they weren't really talking about it, if you know what I mean. The beta was a lot more poppin' in terms of popularity and people talking about it, and then they brought it offline, they brought it back another time, and then they brought it offline, and then they brought it back for the final time. And people were just kind of over it. Like, people were hyped, like, a lot of people were playing MW3 at the time, and then a few months later, Black Ops 6 comes out and just completely kills it off. So it just didn't really have a fighting chance, to be honest with you. Combination of Black Ops 6 being good, server issues, them marketing as a COD killer when it was never going to be a COD killer. All these things, also free to play. All these things really just kind of killed the game off. I'm not going to lie. I think the biggest thing, though, is it being free to play. I think the free to play model is not a good model unless your game costs less than 10 mil to make. Because if you're making a game that costs 50 to 100 mil and you're making a third of that back, and then you also have to make server money, like, it's not very good. Not very good at all. So that was my last game on camera, because I'm actually gonna play a little bit more. I am really bad this game. I'm probably gonna play, like, I don't know, like I did with Multiverse, probably a few more games, you know, just to have a good send-off. But it's sad this game died. It really is, because it was a good game. It should have just never been marketed as a COD killer. The server issue should have been solved within the first 2 weeks. They should have never did the whole closed beta, open beta, close the game, come back finally. And it should have never been free to play. It should have been $20 to $40. Honestly, $20 would have been perfect, but I understand 40 at the same time. But it didn't, so we're here. It's closing. I'm not sure what exact time, but it's closing sometime today, which is the 3rd of July, the 3rd of June. Oh my gosh, I almost said July. But I want you down in the comments what y'all think. And until next time, peace.
She said I could have it. 2016, little bitch, I'm a savage. Johnny Depp's to a bitch, make all the baggage. Then I feel like I'm a fucking bandit. RIP, just walk got perks in the cabinet. Sold them off on my session.